When you think of Sun Devil football, you think of Sun Devil for life. If we get the Valley all in, the sky is the limit.
I went to Arizona State. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
I'm home.
Hello, Sun Devil fans. Brad Denny with 3TV, CBS Live, and the Speak of the Devils podcast here. Welcome back for another episode of the Speak of the Devils Sitdown series, where I bring you in-depth, one-on-one conversations with key players, coaches, and other figures within Sun Devil athletics. This new era of Sun Devil football under Kenny Dillingham is defined by a focus on home, on establishing and reestablishing relationships with local players and coaches, on strengthening the ties with the fan base and the local business community. Basically, on activating the Valley. And if this new era can have some players like Kyle Soelle, the Sun Devils may just make it happen. Soelle came to ASU in 2017 as a solid local signee from powerhouse Saguaro High School in Scottsdale. While he didn't come in with a fanfare of local blue-chip Arizona prep stars like a DJ Foster or N'Keal Harry, Soelle put his head down and went to work. He redshirted. Then he made his mark on special teams. He became a valuable rotational defender. And by his last few years, he would go on to become multi-year team captain, one of the Pac-12's best linebackers, and now an NFL draft prospect. And in the process of doing so, he became a shining example of what a hometown hero can mean to the local program. In this episode, Kyle and I discussed the highs and lows of his Sun Devil career, the preparation for the NFL draft, what he thinks of the new era of ASU football, his legacy, and much more. So let's get to it. Here's my conversation with Kyle Soelle. All right, Kyle. So obviously you are working your way towards the NFL draft, just a few short weeks away. Kind of walk our listeners. What's a day in the life of Kyle Soelle, NFL draft prospect, like?
Yeah, honestly, it's been good. I feel like I've been treating, this last not even few months, but year building up to this process. Typical day for me. I'm up around 8 o'clock, get a good breakfast in. Typically try to get to the facilities around 10 o'clock, get a nice warm up, good stretch in. Obviously get your vitamins, your supplements needed. Straight into a speed session at 11. That's about an hour and a half. Got lunch, followed by power and strength training for another hour and a half, then followed by skill work on the field. And then obviously you got to finish off the day with, good dinners and, great sleep, and then back to it the next day.
Yeah, obviously, one of the big part of the process for you has been heading down to the Shrine Bowl and getting that experience as well. What are some of the big things that you were able to take away from that experience with the Shrine Bowl?
I think the biggest thing I took away from that experience was, I feel like I matched up great against some of the top guys that are considered to be the best linebackers in this class. I look in the mirror and I feel like, I'm still one of those top guys in this class. Was a little disappointed with no combine invite, but I'm looking forward to this pro day with a little chip on my shoulder and ready to showcase what I've been working on.
Through this pre-draft process, obviously they look at the physical and the tape and everything, but also get to know you as a person and really kind of, all-encompassing. What are some of the things, perhaps the most surprising aspects or the most interesting aspects of this entire kind of holistic pre-draft process that you've noticed?
That's a tough one. I don't think I really had any surprises. I feel like I was very blessed and fortunate to have, guys like Chase Lucas, DJ Davidson, Darian Butler, Jack Jones, guys that went through this process before me that I feel like I had a great relationship with and was able to ask them about things they went through. So I really didn't run into any surprises. I would honestly say, they got to start putting some respect on the Pac-12's name. It's like there's a lot of prospects in the Pac-12 that, are showcasing what they can do. And it just shows, this conference has great athletes.
When you talk to guys, like Chase or DJ, guys who, of course, had their names called just, a year ago, what was some of the advice, some of the kind of the wisdom that they passed on to you?
I think the biggest thing that was emphasized across the board from everyone was just be yourself. Don't try to be someone that you're not. They already know who you are, so just be yourself. Enjoy the process and have fun with it. It's something you only go through once, so I'm trying to enjoy every day.
Now, throughout the last few years, under Coach Edwards, the term pro model was thrown around, just kind of emphasizing the focus on developing these players and you guys to have the best shot at the next level as possible. Through the experience of being in the program and in a program operating under that pro model, what are some of the things that you feel through that experience have prepared you and gotten you ready for this process?
I honestly think Coach Herm's pro model translates probably the best it can. I felt very prepared when it came to the playbook at East West Shrine. Obviously, we were coached by the Falcons. That was a great opportunity to get coaching from them. But I feel like everything that we did schematically, the terms they were using in the coaching staff and the coaching rooms, and just the mentality to come to work every day like a pro, I think it translated perfectly. And I feel very blessed and fortunate to be able to have the coaching from Coach Herm, Coach Lewis, AP in the past, Coach Claiborne, the list goes on. Very thankful for that.
Now, as you mentioned, there's no combine invite for you. I personally was very surprised you didn't get an invite or X as well. Does that just kind of add another little chip on the shoulder, a little extra fuel to the fire in this process?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there was a lot of guys at East West that had Shrine Bowl and combine invites. And I feel like, athletically, game tape, IQ, I feel like I matched up, the same, if not better. So I do have a little chip on my shoulder, and, I'm looking forward to this pro day.
What are some of the things that for this upcoming pro day at the end of March that you really want to show those scouts when they gather there in Tempe?
I think, honestly, I just want to show them that I'm comfortable moving in space. That's something I really emphasized these last 2 months. Working with Clay Mack down in Dallas. He's a DB skills trainer. Basically training with DBs for 2 months. I feel really comfortable moving in space. I feel like I break really well for my size. And I feel like overall I'm moving better than a lot of other linebackers in this class. And I can't wait to showcase that at the pro day.
Now, being a local guy, were you a Cardinals fan growing up? Did you have any favorite teams? Because, it seems like every young boy always has a dream. Like myself, I always wanted to grow up to be the wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers or something like that. Did you envision yourself, with any particular team growing up as a kid?
I'm a hometown guy all the way. So, I had all the Arizona sports teams gear growing up and obviously followed all of them. But whatever team provides me with the opportunity, I'm going to be blessed and looking forward to helping them, win games. But, you got to throw this in there since we're talking about hometown sports teams. Seeing that Kevin Durant in the Suns jersey was really nice the other day. And I'm looking for the Suns to bring one home this year.
At this point, do you have any kind of expectations or feel for perhaps what round you might hear your name or where kind of the expectations that you might end up going?
I don't. I've been hearing things all over the place. Not getting a combine invite, I think, kind of changed kind of the forecast. But I'm still hearing multiple things, so I don't have any kind of clue.
And kind of looking back at your time at ASU, obviously, last year win-loss record-wise did not go the way anybody was hoping. But one thing that really jumped out to me, especially kind of during the back half of the year, was that the team was always fighting hard, and no matter what was happening in the games or the larger kind of narrative of the season, always fighting when some teams might have just packed it in. To what do you attribute that mentality and that characteristic of that team that made you guys so dangerous down the stretch?
I think it probably takes place with there was older guys on the team that wouldn't allow people to quit. And I think it also kind of starts with really who we're with the most, and that is Coach Joe and that training staff. I think his mentality really rubbed off onto that team in terms of you're going to come to work every day, you're going to give it your all and try to be the best that you can. And I think that's, despite everything that the team was going through and, not the best results, I think that's the mentality we kind of carried on.
What kind of stood out to you about how Coach Iguano kind of managed the program once he took over? Obviously, he was kind of put in a difficult position, kind of just given how things had unfolded. But and taking over the helm of the ship, what were some of the things that kind of stood out to you about what he did over those 9 weeks?
I would say his player to coach relationships. He really wanted to get feedback from us. As well as still, making sure everyone's coming to work every day and giving it their all. But he really took the words from the players and, try to do the best he could with that. Obviously that tough scenario, I tip my hat off to Coach Iguano. I think he did the best that he could to keep this team going. Looking forward to seeing his future in, the coaching world, as well as, many others on that staff now. But, Coach Iguano, he's a great coach. I think he did the best that he could for that scenario.
Obviously, a lot of stuff thrown at you guys, from a lot of different directions, a lot of stuff, outside of the players' control, of course. From your perspective, what were some of the most challenging things that, you as a team faced last season? And what were some of the ways that you guys kind of rallied and came together to face them and try to overcome them?
I would probably say just the fact, losing a head coach. For a lot of the guys, especially the young guys on the team, that's kind of like a throw in the towel for some people. So I think that just the biggest task was letting them know, we still got to play games on Saturday. Are you just going to go out there and fold, or, you're still going to go out there and play, especially for the seniors. Some guys that was the last time they'll ever play football again. And you don't want to go out, sorry, so to speak. And then you also, you're playing for the name on the back of your jersey. And, a lot of people sacrifice for student athletes to get to the places that they are at. And you owe it to them. You owe it to them to give it your all every time you get to compete.
As a team captain, multi-year team captain, obviously the team just suffered kind of the big gut punch early on with Herm Edwards, and leaving after the third week. Just how challenging from as one of the recognized team leaders, one of the guys that people go to, people you have the nickname Cap for a reason. How challenging was it to kind of hold things together with losing a head coach that early in the season, especially a head coach that you had gotten to know for so many years.
Yeah, it was challenging, but I think you just got to draw back on past experiences, honestly. I had gone through the coaching change with Coach Graham before, and I just kind of try to reflect back on what the leaders then, would tell us as a team, and just try to do my best to be there for guys. Obviously, even outside of football, that's a lot mentally for some people. Some kids are still going through school, which is, not easy being a student athlete. So I think you just got to be there for everyone, just give them the best advice possible. And like I said, rally the troops, so to speak, let them know you're not just playing for yourself, but the people that sacrifice to get you to where you're at.
No, as that team leader over the course of a number of years, how did you see your leadership style and how you were as a leader kind of evolve over the latter part of your career?
I think just as the years went on, I just try to every day go into that building and give it my all every day and go to work. I feel like if you keep your head down and your intentions are, you want to help the team win, get to that prize goal of a championship, and you work every day for that, the rest will take care of itself. So that's just something I try to emphasize to the team whenever I was around teammates. And then, obviously it's more than just football. It's being there for guys, whether they're going through hardships with school, family, whatever it may be. I think it's just important to be there, as a person as well.
Obviously, once outside of all that, and just between those lines, you put together one hell of a season, one of the the best by an ASU linebacker in a number of years. How do you feel when you look back on your tape and what you put on the field there in 2022? How do you feel you performed last season?
Yeah, I really I feel like I did everything that I could to make Sun Devil Nation proud. I had a goal for myself going to ASU to bring a Pac-12 championship to the city and hopefully a Rose Bowl. Unfortunately, wasn't able to achieve that. But that last season, I just, I wanted to go out saying, I really gave it everything I could. I don't know, tough to say, but I guess you just keep moving forward, just keep trying to get better.
When you look back at your entirety of your Sun Devil career, a lot of big moments for you on the field. When you're just looking at stuff on the field and during games, what were some of your favorite on-field memories during your Sun Devil career?
Man, I would have to say the win down in Tucson, 70-7. That's definitely probably number one.
Yeah.
I was just thinking back to, I was fortunate to be a part of some great upsets. When I was a redshirt freshman, we upset Washington when they were number 5 here in Tempe, then followed that up by upsetting Oregon the next year here in Tempe. I'd probably say those 3 memories are probably the best.
Yeah, real quick, speaking of that 70-7, what was that like? Just obviously, you guys have the big kickoff return to kick things off. That's a big jolt of electricity. But just the almost absurd series of events of just how everything was going in ASU's favor. What was that like as a player to just be not just having everything go right for you guys, but to do that against your hated arch rival?
Honestly, that day, waking up in the hotel. Being around the team meetings, you just kind of had a feel, right? We're going to kick these guys' fucking ass, excuse my language. And, from the opening kickoff to see that happen, it was just, I don't know, you felt the energy through warm-ups, you felt the energy through meetings, it was going to be one of those days. So to see it actually happen, it was a good feeling.
What are you going to miss most about just being an ASU football player?
I would probably say just being around the guys in the locker room, right? I love the city. Arizona will always be home to me. I'll always be making trips down to Tempe. It's great to see the city grow. But I'll probably just say the locker room, those guys. That's definitely the biggest difference. You're with those guys every day, putting in the sweat, putting in the long hours, and just the relationships you build there. I'd say that's the biggest thing.
When you look back, from where you are today, and kind of look back to when you first kind of stepped foot on campus as a Sun Devil signee, where do you feel that you've kind of grown the most as a person during that span?
Honestly, I feel like mentally, I feel like I was fortunate to meet a lot of great people through my time in college. My biggest thing was I want to find out who I am through college. I want to meet the people that are going to be my friends for life. Not just on the football team, but outside, and just build my network of people that are going to help me for the rest of my life. And I feel like I did that. I found out who I was as a person and what's really important in life, and I'm thankful for that.
Now, after the U of A game this past season in the post-game press conference, we're standing there and you take the podium, and one of the things that you kind of brought up kind of to the media is just talking about how your hopes for ASU to kind of step things up in the NIL aspect. What were some of the things that you saw, or perhaps didn't see at that point, that kind of led you to make those comments?
I think there's a lot of little things that people don't understand that student athletes have to deal with. That they may not seem like a big deal, but truly they are, and they're a hassle to everyday life for us. Just like I'm sure other people do as well, but just to get specific, one instance, and it's still, I don't know if it still is. I haven't been back to ASU since December. But parking passes is a big deal. Kids getting parking tickets and boots on their car, which aren't cheap, and they add up, just causes stress to players' lives. And that's one thing I'm not sure if they took care of now, but we don't get provided parking passes yet. We have to be at the stadium every single day. So those were just little instances like, NIL, I feel like that should be covered, right? Every kid should get a parking pass on the team. Other instances, I feel like maybe, each kid should get, some meal prep sent for home. Just little things, right? Let's make the athletes' life a little bit easier and, have them really focus on being the best athlete they possibly can be.
Yeah, I actually did a podcast with Jalen Conyers and was kind of asking him about his perspective, and was kind of really interested in me because I think there might be a misconception among some fans out there that NILs are all this big huge deal, but he's just like basically broke it down to just like, hey, obviously as a student athlete we have so much on our plate, so much responsibility. Just like, I'm not looking for anything massive. Just, I want to be able to kind of, as you said, just not have to worry about getting a boot on my car from, parking, or just like if I want to go out to a movie with the guys, I'm able to do that. So do you think that ASU is probably, it seems like, especially with the hiring of Kenny Dillingham and just kind of, realizing the modern aspect of college football, that ASU is making some progress, in these last few months in that area?
Yeah, I don't know completely. I mean, it looks like it. I see the activate the Valley tags, going up on social media. I haven't really got to speak to any of the guys yet about how things are going. I've really just been focused on this process. But I think what Jalen said, is the truth. It's not like guys are looking for, crazy buku bucks, these big deals you hear at other schools. That's not the case. We're very fortunate to be in Tempe, Arizona, 365 days of sun, great weather, great cities, things to do. Kids just want to live comfortable. They want to, be able to come home, not have to worry about certain things, and just focus on, being the best student athlete, going to school and performing on the field. And I think, I think Sun Devil Nation has the sources to do this. It's just everyone's got to buy in.
No, last year, of course, it was pretty special. You got to be a starter alongside your brother, Connor. Just how special was it to be able to kind of play alongside him as starters last year?
Yeah, it was a great experience. Very blessed to be able to do that. Not many get to do that. Looking forward to seeing his career continue and him develop. He's chasing some numbers I put up, and I think he's got all the ability to do better.
Now, of course, he's an Oregon Duck right now. What was some of the guidance that you gave him during that process where he's deciding the best step for him in his future?
I think it's just that, what's the best step for him in his future. I'm gonna always support my brother, and I'm always going to support my family for whatever's best for themselves. At the end of the day, he's going to make the best decision for himself, and what he did is what he did. And I'm looking forward to seeing him perform, make a name for himself. And it's going to be a good one for him. I'm excited for his future.
Any part of you, though, that maybe wishes that he was able to kind of follow your path and finish out as a Devil?
If things were, I'm just happy for him. I'll leave it at that.
That's fair.
He's gonna do great things. I'm happy for him. That was obviously the initial plan, but things change and things happen. So you gotta do what you gotta do. What's best for yourself.
So fast forward to November 18th. Connor and the Ducks are visiting Tempe. Where are your loyalties going to be that day?
Well, shoot. I mean, I will hopefully be playing the next day, in a game somewhere in the country on an NFL team. So I'll be tapped into the score. I think I'll probably be wearing some Duck colors, just for the family's sake. But that day, I think I'm going to have to be rooting for the family on that. It's tough to say, but I'm obviously watching the Devils. I wish, I think they're going to have a great season this next year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what, Sun Devils do in these coming years.
So like a ASU win, but Connor has like 20 tackles and 4 sacks or something like that.
Something like that, right? We'll see. We'll see how it goes down.
So obviously, we kind of touched on it a moment ago, but obviously, kind of in the wake of your comments and just kind of seeing such a strong push to activate the Valley, community-wise, NIL-wise, but also just kind of a refocus on just all the valuable things and the immense player talent in the Valley and across the state. What's it like, just being one of those guys who, was a hometown guy, was able to kind of develop into one of the conference's best players. What is it like just kind of seeing this program under the new leadership kind of wanting to activate the Valley and really appreciate all the wonderful things that this state and this local talent base has to offer?
I think it's great. I think it's the first time we're actually seeing this push and this wave really happen at ASU. I think Kenny Dillingham's a great guy to lead the ship. I think he's honestly the guy to do this. And the staff he's built around him with all the Arizona ties, I think they're going to have great success. I'm looking forward to getting back in the building, seeing how the energy is, seeing some of the guys work. I've heard just, from roommate like Michael Matus, there's a new energy in the building. Guys are excited. So, as an outsider looking in now, I'm excited to see what they do this year and the years come.
Now, one of the members on Kenny's staff, pretty well. What were the first thoughts going through your head when you heard that Jason Mons was coming on board?
Shoot, it's about time. Honestly, a little longer overdue, but I'm excited to see Coach Mons, wearing the maroon and gold. I think he's a very really valuable asset, in terms of not only coaching staff but recruiting. He knows how to build relationship with players. You just look at his pass on players he's put out to college from Saguaro, and I can't even imagine, what that's going to look like from players to college to the NFL. He's one of the best coaches I've ever had. Nothing but great things to say about Coach Mons, and I'm so glad to see him in the maroon and gold.
Obviously, he's a Sun Devil in his own right and has that family legacy that he's bringing to the program. As a coach, though, what makes him so successful? Obviously, his resume speaks for himself with championship after championship. But what are the things that he has as a coach that allows him to unlock that success and sustain that success?
I think it's really he only accepts the best you. He knows what you're capable of, and he's going to get the best out of you that he knows he can get. He's not going to accept, mediocrity. If you're slacking today, he's going to call you out. He's going to be real, but it's all for the best reasons. He wants to see you succeed, and he understands what it takes to win. It's not just doing, the bare minimum. You got to put in the extra time. You got to put in the extra work. And, his resume speaks for itself. He understands what it takes to win. And, I'm excited to see him in the maroon and gold. I can't wait to see the impact he has on the Devils.
Now, obviously, you'll be, playing on Sundays here this fall. But, a lot of these guys, these former teammates of yours, perhaps, some younger guys who are looking to take a step into a larger role, or which returning Sun Devil players are you most excited to kind of watch and follow and see develop next season?
Yeah, I've got a few, honestly. I think Chris Edmonds is going to have a great year. I think we saw, little flashes of that last year, but I think he's going to elevate it to the next level. Obviously, Jordan Clark, I've seen him working his tail off. And I know he's always got that football IQ. He's going to put the hours in. So I know he's going to have a great year and take his game to the next level. Rowe as well. I think he's going to have a great season. I know he's putting in the work and, working on his game. And also Elijah Badger. I can't wait to see him, kind of elevate his game to be one of the great receivers to come out of Arizona State. He's got the talent and the ability to be with the names like N'Keal Harry and Brandon Ayuk. It's just, he's got to go out and put in the work, and I think he will, and I'm excited to see it take place.
Now, as one of the guys who, obviously a local high school star, stayed with the hometown university and, put in the work, stayed true, and ultimately ended your career as one of the best in the conference, what would your advice be for, local Arizona high school kids then about, the value or the opportunity that, staying with the local university has?
I mean, shoot, I said it already. 365 days of sun you can't beat. Trust me. You go other places, it's not like this. So don't take it for granted. Really, just you have an opportunity here to build your own legacy. Arizona is only continuing to grow as a state. So your name will be forever remembered as a Sun Devil in this great community, not just on the field but off the field when it comes to business. And we have a great opportunity. I always remember growing up and hearing, Arizona State's a sleeping giant. Well, who's going to be the player to take us to that giant status? And you never know, it could be you. And you just put the work in every day and be the best you can be. The rest will take care of itself.
They kind of touched on it there, legacy and how these guys could potentially be remembered. So 10, 20 years down the road, when Sun Devil fans bring up the name Kyle Soelle, how would you like them to remember you?
Well, shoot, I got goals that my name will be on the future athletic buildings down there. The Soelle name. Hopefully I'll have the nutrition bar named after myself, and maybe the weight room, obviously with some generous donations that, I'd like to give back down the road. But shoot, just someone that gave it his all and was, there for the community. I want to see Arizona State be that giant, like I said. So I'm excited to see them, take the steps towards that. And I was glad to be a small part of that history.
I'd like to thank Kyle for taking the time to talk with me for this episode. Make sure you are subscribed to Speak of the Devils on the podcast platform of your choice for more episodes featuring guests such as Chris Edmonds, DJ Foster, Jalen Conyers, Trenton Bourget, Ethan Long, Ryan Campos, Gio Sanders, and many more. And also be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at bdenny29.